Paul was a young man who wanted to progress in life, and that motivation led him to look for a job in a famous Burger King chain. But first, he would begin his training where he would be taught everything he should know in his work. A month after his training, he would be given the address of the branch where he would start working. This was a reason for celebration for Paul and his family, because thanks to this job, he could study at the university because the dream of this young man was to graduate in economics. But his family did not have the resources to provide him with the education he needed. However, that would not let that stop him, and he sought an alternative to meet his goal with this in mind every day. He gave his best effort at work, which earned him the respect of his colleagues. But what Paul would be known the most for was having a big heart, because every week he served the homeless who came to the restaurant and treated them with so much love and understanding that left everyone in the place impressed. For these actions, Paul was not looking for any recognition. He just knew the feeling of having nothing and wanted to be able to bring a little bit of happiness to someone who needed it. He didn't know that one day a good heart would get him a great reward because a person would be watching his people and help towards others. It would all start on an ordinary day for Paul. He was at the counter welcoming all the customers who visited that place until he was surprised by the visit of an old homeless man who entered the home. Embarrassed, he asked Paul what he could give him with only 50 cents, since it was the only thing he could collect during this morning. The comment from that poor man would make this young man feel moved, so he asks him, "If you could buy anything with your own money, what would you choose?" To which the man replies, "The most expensive combo, of course." "Well, that would relieve for a day or two," he replied. Paul was sorry to hear those words and invited the bum to sit at one of the tables to wait for his order, as he would take care of his order himself because he would pay for it out of his pocket. The homeless man was pleased to hear that and thanked him for everything he was doing for him. Minutes later, Paul himself would take care of bringing him his order, wishing him bon appetit. Later that day, Paul arrives home and tells his mother the details of his life and also tells her about his anecdote with that homeless man. She is delighted and at the same time proud of her son, decides to publish the story on social networks, where she would also put how proud she was to be the mother of a young man with such a good heart because that was the example she had taught him at home. Very soon, the reactions to the publication would be felt. Some family members, like his grandmother, Karina, congratulated her grandson for being a man with a big heart and made her proud with his act full of kindness and selflessness. Other friends and acquaintances praised Paul's act and congratulated her for the example she had taught her son, which spoke volumes about his upbringing at home. Still, the story does not end here, as the mother told in the following publication that there was an angel who, after seeing her son's good deed, decided to reward him with a juicy tip. For this action, his mother thanked him because other people must recognize an act of humility and kindness when she sees it. To her surprise, that woman replied to her publication praising the action of her son because she was surprised by his beautiful act of kindness, wanted to be able to reward him in some way. In addition, she indicated that she wrote to the social networks of Burger King so that the company recognizes its worker for his beautiful values. Remember how important it is to help others without interest, because tomorrow, when you least expect it, it will be rewarded. Now tell us, would you help a poor homeless person if you had the opportunity? See you in the next video.